Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion, recording for you on Palm Sunday evening. Now, you might have seen my uh, post this morning. It was hasty, I'll be honest. I didn't have as much time as I wanted to put that up before I got out the door to go to church. I made it to church on time, which was good because it was a long service. That said, I promised at the time that I would have another one for you on Palm Sunday, and here it is. It's a little different though than what I thought I was going to talk about, and I'll share that with you here in just a moment. So, as we enter this holy week that leads us into the holiest season of the year for followers of the way of Christ, it is as important as ever to remember that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. So, a song that has been coming into mind frequently, and I shared this recently, and I think I shared the video just about a week or so ago. It's the song by Midnight Oil, Beds Are Burning. And I think I'll probably post the video again. It's worth listening to again and again and again. The lyric is the refrain is, how can we sleep while the earth is turning? Or how can we dance while the earth is turning? How can we sleep while our beds are burning? And it's this plea, this cry of how can we pretend that this is normal? How can we just go about what we've done year in and year out and not see in scripture, in the cycle of the liturgy, how can we not put this in dialogue with what is going on and hold this time up, the stories that we're so familiar with up, and say, as Christians, this is what we need to be about as followers of Christ. Because again, I think so many Christians are are corrupted by idolatry, the idolatry of Donald Trump, the idolatry of MAGA, the idolatry of Christian nationalism. For those that aren't, I think it is ever more important that we hear preaching, that we hear just words connecting what is happening today, right now, with the story of the Passion. And I didn't hear that today, and I was disappointed. I even had to leave worship today. Um, I just had to, I felt so frustrated and so angry. And I didn't leave altogether. I came back because I wanted to receive Eucharist. That is the heart of why I go to liturgy. It's not the lessons or the gospel even. It is the Eucharist. And I wanted to receive that. And I also wanted to see friends and talk to people. And I'm really glad that I did. I had some really good conversations after liturgy. But I couldn't listen to the sermon. And when I came back afterwards, I couldn't listen to a reading from the diocese. I don't know if it was an official reading or what. And the reason that I couldn't is because these were both reflections on the Passion in other times, in times past, not times present. Because at the heart of what we see in the gospel story, so much of that is being played out right here and right now, right? Because in the heart of the Passion that we hear about, it's the collusion between the empire, the power over that Rome and Pilate and Caesar held, the power of death on a cross, and the religious leadership, right? I mean, they are the ones who trump up charges against Jesus. They are the ones who arrange for his betrayal. They are the ones who bring him in front of Rome, right? And there's so much in that story that resonates with what we are seeing played out each and every day, right? And then we look at Christ and the suffering servant, the surrender, the humility, the crying out. And is he not representative of the brothers and sisters that are being deported and dragged to those detention facilities, which I don't think are reported enough in the mainstream media, and actually in independent media that I listen to here on Substack and the like. I don't even think here we're talking about it enough. I mean, those are massive facilities, y'all, that are absolutely deplorable conditions. And people are dying in them. People are suffering, right? And those are just two examples. I mean, the list could go on of, how the gospel is being reflected in what we see. And I honestly don't fault the messengers. I feel sad and disappointed, sure, because it's not the message that I wanted to hear, that I needed to hear. Perhaps it's what others need to hear. I know that it's very challenging to preach against the regime, to preach against Christian nationalism. I know from the diocese in Southern Ohio, this is the Episcopal Diocese, that there was a directive that from the pulpit, they can't be political, right? And boy, that is pathetic in my mind. I mean, I get it, y'all, but we make a stand. Which side are you on? Are you on the collusion of religion? And that could be collusion through speaking out, but also silence, right? Because I think there's a collusion there when good natured people go about their business and just think it's all going to go away. The midterms will solve it, or this will solve it, or that will solve it. No, no. Yes, they will make a difference, but the cancer, the corruption that is here is not going away because it is diabolical and it has infested humanity. And we're seeing it play out again and again. And if we are truly going to follow the one who dies on a cross, whose sacrifice, who's giving up everything, whose surrender, and again, I don't want to get into all the theological atonement and all that kind of stuff, but the person who died because he confronted out of love both the empire and the religion of his day, he is the one who is raised and is suddenly transcendent in a way that he never was before. And that is what we're called to do. We are called to be bold. We are called to surrender and trust. And I didn't hear that today. I didn't. And I'm sad for that. But I'm glad I can speak that to you. I know there may be people listening who are there. And I don't mean to offend. And I don't mean to, take personal shots at anybody who is involved with this. But this is my opinion. And I just think we need more. Right. So I do feel grateful. I did get to get up and read, and I wore my No Kings shirt. I don't have it on right now, but I wore that and got to stand up. So that was something. That was something to be sure. And I have this platform as well to be able to talk what I feel and talk what I believe and hopefully be supported and be encouraging to you and to others. Briefly, the Psalm 88 is the one, and I love the number 88. That's my graduation year, 1988. I just think it's got those rounded circles and it's got a nice visual look, right? And again, it's in a similar theme to what we've heard, the psalmist crying out, God, where are you? How have you abandoned me? And so forth. And we hear that today, right? I mean, in Matthew's gospel, I had forgotten in Matthew's gospel, on the cross, Jesus says, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, my God, why have you forsaken me? Psalm 24, right? Or Psalm 22, I believe. I forget which one it is, but it's one of the ones that's next. I think it's 22. I'll have to look that up. But again, Christ himself, Jesus himself says that from the cross. So I think this is an apt psalm for us to have lining up with Palm Sunday. So I'm not going to read all of it. It's fairly short, 18 verses, but I'm just going to read the end of it because it ends on a pretty bleak note. And today's gospel, the Passion, ends on a bleak note, right? And we know that, and we know what our faith tells us is the rest of the story, but we have to sit in that tomb, in that darkness as well. And that's where we are as Americans right now, y'all. We are in a tomb and darkness. And yeah, so here's the psalm. Um, this is verse 12 through 18. Will darkness tell of your wonders? Does your justice shine in the land where all is forgotten? Grandfather, I call out to you and send my voice to you as the sun rises each morning. Oh, grandfather, why have you rejected me and turned your face away? From my youth I have been weak, and at the door of death I have braved your terrors for too long. I am a man without hope. Your burning anger has consumed me, and your terrors have swept over me. Like the waters of a raging flood, they whirl around me from sunrise to sunset and surround me on every side. You have removed all my relatives from my circle. Now darkness is my only companion. Yeah, yeah. That's pretty bleak, actually, and not very hopeful in the ending. But yeah, that is where we are today. I think as we look at the war that looks to be escalating. We look to the leadership. I wanted to share this. I don't know if you heard this the other day. I am going to end on a good note, though. There's a good thing coming up this week. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But this is Heg Seth. That was a prayer service. Keg Seth, as some have called him. He says, this was a prayer. This is a prayer. All right. Let every round find its mark against the enemies of righteousness in our great nation. Give them wisdom in every decision and overwhelming violence of action against those who deserve no mercy. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. And the rest of the article is saying army chaplains of all faiths and denominations who don't share that viewpoint are feeling marginalized and feeling in a very difficult place in this current Department of War. And I feel now we need to call it Department of War because there's no defending. This hasn't been about defense. What they're doing, they're choosing war, and that is where we are. So that hopeful note, I'll end with this, y'all. Did you see in the headlines that Wednesday, the first, is when Artemis 2, the moon rocket could launch. There's a window that's coming up, and I guess that's the prime time, whether it does or not. But I'm really excited about this, y'all. I got a little bit of space geek in me. I just decided to go and continue watching. I'm only on the half of the first season, but For All Mankind, the Apple TV about the alternative NASA sort of US. And I'm really excited about this, y'all, because I think it shows what our country and our world can do when we are at our best. The problem, though, with going to space and eventually what doing the longer term that we want to do is that if this cancer, if this virus of hatred and bigotry and Christian nationalism and all of that, if we don't actively work with Christ's help to heal that, then we're just going to take that wherever we go, right? And that doesn't seem like a good idea. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and end. May you have a blessed week ahead. I plan to be with you through it. It's got a busy week ahead of me, but I will be here with you. So blessing and good. Be well. Be bold. Hold fast, y'all.